Hey everybody, welcome to the next episode of Model Building Start to Finish. This is the one I've been waiting for, Dan. It's Dan style detailing, right?
Yeah. So in this episode, we're going to start adding some things that weren't part of the kit and to enhance it a little bit. At this point, I've pretty much built it straight out of the box, and obviously it's not complete, but I didn't want to go any further until I'd done some things because it will get harder to do if I put more stuff on it. So one of the things that kind of bugs me about this kit is this base area.
Well, it might just be a cement foundation. That's what they look like.
Yeah, it could be. Also, I don't like these seams at the corners. If I was going to leave this plain and paint it a concrete color, I'd probably want to putty those seams and fill them.
You would have to, because that would show up and it would look like crap.
Yeah. So I've decided to do something else with this, though. So this is a paper product.
I see bricks.
Yeah, it looks like bricks. This is by John Rendell Scale Models, and it's sheet number 8652. They come 3 to a package, and it's this brick stuff that's actually printed on a piece of thick paper. And what's kind of neat about this is that the bricks, whatever kind of ink they used for this, actually has a thickness to it. So if you run your finger over it, it actually has a texture.
Oh, yeah, I can feel that.
Yeah. So what I want to do with this is cut strips of this and use it to make that area under the wood part of the building look like brick. So I measured, and the depth of that blank area at the bottom of the walls is 3.5 scale feet. So what I need to do is measure that distance on this brick sheet and then cut out a strip of that width. One thing that's nice is that the mortar lines make it easy to line up so you know you're cutting straight.
What if the mason was drunk that day?
Well, we'll pretend our mason wasn't. So this brick sheet is a little shiny and a little bit too bright looking, I think. I've never seen bricks that are that shiny.
Oh, yeah.
So I've got some raw umber color pan pastel on a stiff brush, and I'm just going to scrub some of that over it and just to kind of tone it down and dirty it up slightly.
Yeah, that does the trick. I'm looking at the area where it's not... Yeah. What is it, just sinking into the area where it's not raised from the ink?
I think so, yeah. It kind of gets in the mortar lines and just makes them look a little bit dirty.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of a dry brush. It's like a wet brush, but it's not, you know what I mean.
It also kills some of the shine on the brick, which is cool.
To be honest, I was a little hesitant when you were talking about this, but that looks really good.
Yeah, it's not too bad, huh? I already determined that there's 7 scale feet between these walkway supports or the loading dock supports. So I cut some strips to fit, and I'm just gluing them in place with CA, just running some CA over the back of the paper, and then setting the piece in place.
Yeah. You got to hold it there for a minute, though, huh? For the CA to start?
Just for a few seconds to make it stick. I cut these this way on purpose to try to avoid any obvious seams.
Okay.
Because if you have a straight up and down line, that's kind of a giveaway. So what I'm trying to do is put these together and match up the bricks so that they will look just like
real bricks?
Real bricks, yeah.
Oh, Dan, I have bad news.
Yeah?
I can see it.
Yeah, but you know where to look for it.
That's true.
I mean, if you were just looking at this building and didn't know to look for it, do you think you'd notice it?
Yes, I have super keen vision. No, I don't actually think I would notice.
I mean, I think it looks better than having a straight up and down seam, if nothing else.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's for sure. So,
yeah.
Well, I must say that looks really good.
Yeah, I think it looks all right. I did have to poke holes in it where the mounting holes go for the stairs and for this little box thing that fits over here.
I forgive you.
Yeah. And I did that by holding it up to the light so I could see the holes from the other side.
Through the paper?
Through the paper, yeah. And then going ahead and poking them out.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
Yeah, I think it's much improved, especially without those ugly seams at the corners.
Hey, you added something else.
Yeah, now that the brick is on, I can put that little basement entrance or whatever it is on, and I'll just secure it with some liquid styrene cement.
Oh, I see, to the base. I thought you were going to put it on from the pegs in the back on the inside of the model.
Could do that too.
So apparently that thing is not a basement entrance. It's a grain dump.
What's a grain dump?
I have no idea.
That's what I do after I've eaten too many granola bars.
This is the dump door. Yeah, I'm ignoring you.
I noticed.
I'm weathering this
I would too.
With some pan pastels. This is neutral gray extra dark.
Okay.
I'm just kind of smearing some on top of that.
Does that simulate dumped grain or what?
I don't know. It just looks a little weathered and discolored. And that, if it looks good, it's okay, right?
Yeah. Kind of like the old adage that you don't have to know what something is to model it.
Right.
You just have to put it there. We're going to watch Dan expertly glue something. Oh, look at that. Oh, wow. That's the most professional looking grain dump I've ever seen.
So I've got some Testors Model Master Depot Buff acrylic.
Depot, what?
It's a color called Depot Buff.
Okay.
And I'm going to use it to dry brush the loading dock.
Is this to just give it some texture to the wood grain or what?
Yeah. So I'm using a disposable micro brush to do this, and just little bits of paint at a time and build it up slowly. So now I'm going to do a wash on this using some glass cleaner as a wetting agent.
Yeah.
And then some diluted black paint. It's acrylic. The idea is to let the black collect in the grooves.
Oh, to show off the cracks, huh?
Right.
Yeah. I've seen you do this on a lot of different surfaces for what I call popping effect. It makes the detail pop, especially if it's recessed detail like what you're doing.
Right.
You picking it up now with the dryer brush?
I dried the brush off. I want to get rid of these bubbles because I don't want it to dry with little bubble spots.
Well, it doesn't look like a piece of plastic anymore.
Yeah, it's getting there.
I really like the darkness in between the planks.
Yeah, that's what the wash does for you.
Yeah, that's very convincing.
Yeah. So now I'm using various earth-toned pan pastels with a micro brush and going over just certain random boards.
Oh, right, to make it look like different pieces of wood.
Right.
I remember seeing you do this on the deck of a flat car on one of our weathering and detailing rolling stock videos.
Yeah, it's the same idea.
Yeah.
It's subtle, but it adds a little bit more to the look of the deck.
Oh yeah, because wood planks never look exactly the same. So it makes a lot of sense.
So finally, I'm using some butter to kind of go over the whole thing. And this is kind of blending everything together. And it's also dulling the finish because there was a little bit of a sheen to it.
Yeah.
For some reason, but this is pretty much killing it.
Yeah, but it almost seems to me like that's homogenizing the police uniform, though.
I've talked before about weathering in layers in other programs.
All the time.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I've done here. I dry brushed, and then I did a wash, and then I did pan pastels, and then I did powder. And I ended up going back and doing a few more pan pastels just to kind of restore some of the color variation.
It did make it a little bit uniform, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah.
But then I went back over it again with a little bit of powder because for some reason the pan pastels are making this a little shiny.
Yeah.
So I went back over it again with powder to dull it down again. And I think it looks pretty good now.
Yeah, it's even more convincing now than it was before.
Yeah, it's a very subtle variations in the boards. It's not shiny. Looks like old wood to me.
Yep.
So that's the whole idea. So now I can go ahead and glue this onto the model along with the stairs. I use the same techniques on the stairs.
Yeah, I was commenting off camera, and I thought this was worth mentioning, that it could have been improved with some nail detail. And I assume that you could probably do that with something like a hot needle or something, just make little dents in the plastic.
If you wanted to.
Yeah.
That's a lot of nails, though.
Yeah, I'm not saying to do it because that'll take us till tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right. So
I went ahead and glued on the loading dock and the stairs. So this is probably a good place to stop for now.
okay, then I guess we'll see everybody next time.
Yeah, see ya.